Freud. Jiggy Jaguar today. Sundays, we are live 2 to 4 Central, 3 to 5 Eastern, 12 to 2 Pacific on radiozenu.com. Of course, newsletter, social sites. You can donate to this program. Check out jiggyjaguar.net. We are supposed to be about 15 minutes away from a great studio guest. They have not arrived yet. I think they've gotten lost in South Hutchinson. I'm, of course, Jigman Freud. Thanks for joining us today here on Radio Zenu. And next week, we are... actually, not next week. 3 weeks. 2 weeks away. Something like that. The 23rd, I will be in the great city of Wichita, Kansas. We will be part of the Cypher Kings taping. That, of course, is going to be for CypherKings.com. And what Cypher Kings is it's a brand new reality show that we are hoping... well, not hoping, it's going to be syndicated on about 250 markets across the country on the television network AMG America. So we will be taping that coming up here, our very first episode coming up very soon. Adam is with us today. He is a fantastic, fantastic guest. Adam is an amazing guy. He was quoted on the, and this quote will live the entire week here and maybe into next week. It might just be part of the Sunday radio show at some point. But Adam Muskiewicz just wants to be a frickin' actor. And I love that about him. And Adam, you've written some books. You're Probably a Bad Person, If, and you also wrote 101 Reasons Why Christmas Gets on My Nerves. You've also written The Snuggle Sutra, and Why Do People Put the Couch to the Road with No Cushions, along with a musical comedic script called Cocktails, which is the male version of the Vagina Monologues. And let's start, first of all, with You're Probably a Bad Person If. Tell me about this book, my man.
Well, that's all. The thing about that book, it was a slow day at the restaurant, and I just said to all my friends, I said, listen, we're going to write this book today. So I don't know if you've ever worked in a restaurant, but it's like being on a pirate ship.
A pirate
I told these
ship.
people, I go, just run up with me with any idea you had. So we got anything in there from, oh man, I don't know. Some stuff's gross. I don't know. I don't know. The only thing I can think, well, one thing is, you should probably, I don't know, I want to go to the PG side of the book. I don't know what kind of listeners you have, man.
We've got listeners from all...
Other than that, all I can think of is... What's that?
We've got listeners from all over the frickin' place, brother.
Okay, well, one of them is like, one of the ladies came up with the idea that, oh boy, I don't know, you leave the pubes caked in the soap. Your cats don't know who you are. You should probably leave, but you stay. I don't know, I'm getting really shy here, because there's some seriously bad ones in there. You use religion and, your prowess to hide your pedophilia habits, things of that nature. Next question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man.
Don't worry about it, homie. Hey, don't worry about it. This show has been a train wreck from the very beginning, so it's not that big of a deal that we're going. Don't worry about it. Tell me about the next book, 101 Reasons Why Christmas Gets on My Nerves. Tell me about this.
Well, that's a no-brainer. I mean, at Christmas, I don't care what walk of life you're from. As soon as that Thanksgiving dinner is over, that stress sets in, and it's terrifying. So, for example, there's cute stuff in there, like, the kid likes the box better than the toy. All the money you blow. I have an aunt and uncle. They live in a home. Oh, my God, Aunt Bernie and Uncle Bernard, you got to pick them up. You got to get the walker. You got to stuff the walker in the trunk. You got to sign them out, the whole thing. You're a vegetarian, and it's all big ham and meat fest. The whole stress of how many days left till Christmas, the way they count down the shopping days. It's just terrifying. Tall, skinny Santa Claus. Mrs. Claus has no sex appeal. All the trees that die. The snowmen that melt and they turn brown. The snow is, after you have the quaint, pretty snow at the early part of the season, next thing you know, it's just that sweet and black, and it's covered in traffic soot, and there's just nothing fun about it. You know, and they're your neighbors, they get your kids a gift, and they've got lights everywhere, and their doorbell rings, you know, a Christmas tune, and all this. You didn't even know your neighbor had kids. You know what I'm saying? It's a terrifying experience, and they actually turned that into a screenplay too, because heck, they shove 10 Christmas movies up our butts every year, and you know how many do you remember? You only remember like 6 good Christmas movies, the classics, you know, Elf, kind of funny. Other than that, you know, the market always has an appetite for a terrible Christmas movie, so why not?
Terrible, terrible, terrible Christmas movies, as Charles Barkley would say. Terrible. Now, Adam's with us today. Terrible. It's dueling Charles Barkley impressions here on Radio Xenu. Adam Muskiewicz is with us today. He's written several books. The other one is, Why Do People Put the Couch to the Road with No Cushions? Tell me about this.
Well, that one is it's basically a conversation starter amongst friends. So
Yeah.
Originally, I thought it would be a day like, you know, I always picture a lady like in her robe. She's finally got some time to herself, and she wants, for some reason, instead of a romance novel, she wants to have a thought-provoking time with herself. So, you know, it's sort of thought-provoking questions, like simple, fun ones like that. Why do people put the couch to the road without the cushion? You know, and then there's ones like, do I know the difference between a liberal and a conservative, and which one am I? You know, that age-old question when you go see your finance guy and they sit there and they tell you, well, you know, if you'd have started saving when you were 25 instead of coming to me now when you're 45, this is how much money you would have. You know, thought-provoking questions like that. Geez. I wish I had my stuff in front of me. Izzy, man, he's got to tell me, man. I can refresh my own stuff. These books are so old. Let's see, what else is in there? I'm serious. I wrote all these bad boys so long ago. But, I mean, they're here. They're fresh. They're ready to go. But it's mostly thought-provoking questions. Let's see, off the top of my head. What else? You know, let's just turn it over to cocktails.
Hey, that's fine. Really we'll go with the next one. You've written a musical comedic script called Cocktails, which is a male version of the Vagina Monologues. Tell me about this.
Well, essentially, it goes from, for example, opening scene is like there's this child, and he's accidentally, you know, playing with his stuffed animals, and he accidentally humps his bear. So it's the first time he realizes, you know, I have an erection. And then it goes into his first kiss. And then it goes into the first time he, you know, made out with a girl. And then it goes into how gangster rap and television and MTV have influenced, you know, somebody. And then when you're a child, you always have that cousin or some influence on you. You know, I just want to ride bikes and play sports. And this guy's like, no, dude, we got to get to second base before 5th grade or we're losers. You know, everybody's got a friend that kind of nudged them along. And then what you do is when you hang out with that older friend and you learn that stuff you have no business knowing, what do? You go back and then you tell your young friends about that stuff, and the next thing you know, you're the coolest dude in class. You know, because you French kissed abroad when you were 10, you know. Just terrible. You know, it seriously impeded my athletic career, quite frankly, my appetite for broad. But the thing is, and then it goes into your first love, and then it goes into, you know, you get your heart broken, and then it goes into how now you're like, forget this, forget love, forget all that, it's just sex, and I want it now, and it's not quality, it's quantity, and, you know, you don't ask what would Jesus do, you ask what would LL Cool J do, and then it just goes on and on and on and on, and then it ends. So, you know, the last chapter is, oh my goodness, I knocked somebody up. I'm going to be a father. Holy cow. So it's kind of where you go from, you know, you're a young grass cocker to you're a young Jedi Knight till finally you become a conquistador. And you just have such an appetite for ladies and romance and sex. It just fills it all up, you know. And my point of view is if Vagina Monologues can go around the country 10 times and make whatever money it made, it only makes sense that an equal opposite version of a guy talking about his sex life could do the same, you know, only makes sense to me. But the cool part about my show is it breaks down into songs, you know. It's just like a Disney movie, you know what I mean? really proud of it. That is another one that needs to come to light. I'm just poster child for a Fund Anything campaign. Seriously.
We've got Adam Muskiewicz with us today. We're going to take a time out. Adam, thanks for joining us today, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you. And please, I hope somebody comes follows my project. Again, my name is Adam Muskiewicz. Muskiewicz, C as in cat, Z as in zoo. And it's like I'm like, besides from my relatives, I'm the only person in the whole world with that name. You know, I'm really easy to find on the search engines. And thank you so much for having me on. And the other thing, if anybody ever wants to book with me or work with me, go through Izzy Presley at izzypresleyproductions.com and we can hook it up. Thank you very, very much.
Good stuff. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Adam Muskiewicz with us today here on the program. And, it's getting strange today. We are going to take a time out. And when we come back, maybe we'll have some studio guests. I don't know. If not, I'll plug something or talk about something or I'll waste some time. We got more when we come back.
Ebola is in the news right now. It's a frightening epidemic that seems to be spreading around the country and the globe. Information is power when it comes to fighting and avoiding Ebola. If you want to stay informed as to